Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Steve here, 8:05 a.m. on a Thursday morning already. Can't believe it. Feels to me like it's Tuesday morning. I don't know where the week went. It's going by like crazy. I think it must be all the tension and angst we've felt for the last 1,200 years as we've been anticipating the election of Donald Trump. Maybe that has something to do with it. Some kind of a release. You know, you're like, oh, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, look at it, it's Thursday. So here we are, and I'm driving to work. I've been beginning to make short videos like this for the work environment, where we post those on the Pain Lab KC channel on YouTube. Today I'm doing something personal, and it has to do with the fun subject of abortion to an extent. The sacrificial murder of children to the devil and all of his minions, and the weakness of so many to stand fast against that horror, terrible, tragic catastrophe, half a century going on now, million upon million upon million of innocent lives lost. And I had an unexpected but not terribly shocking brief little conversation with my son yesterday. Now he's in 6th grade, and he had at some point during the day, or I don't know if it was yesterday, the day before, young girl, same age as he in his class, told him that she wished that Kamala Harris had won the election for president. Now, he goes to a Catholic school called St. Charles Borromeo Academy. And, if you know me at all, and I give you just a quick explanation, we've got some fairly stark differences going across the overall Catholic world, where, the Second Vatican Council is concerned, traditional Roman Catholicism is concerned, these types of things. So where there used to be a unity, now there's total disunity, even in, traditional camps, if you want to call them that. And, because we have no leadership. And so when there's no leadership, there's total sporadic chaos, disunity, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's tragic that a young girl in 6th grade would have to have an opinion at all. I'd really like to see kids, have an innocent youth, be content and happy with that. Something to look back on as they have to push forward into the super fun adult years in the modern world. But not to be, for whatever reason. I don't know what caused that. More than likely parents, that's kind of the basic assumption. Could I be wrong? Sure. I'll say that up front. I could be wrong. I'm probably not, though. So anyway, young girl, 6th grade, wishes Kamala had won. And my son said, I think amongst other things, he said she is for abortion. And the girl's response was, well, that's the mother's choice. Isn't that unbelievable? What a goddamned horror that is, to know that a young girl at a so-called Catholic school would have such an opinion about the murder of children. Now, does she understand fully what abortion is? Very likely not, of course. So, of course, I'm not, just for all you people who are oversensitive to normal conversational tone, I'm not putting this on the young girl, obviously. She's a minor. I don't know her, don't know her name, don't know anything about her other than what my son mentioned to me, right? So there's no attack, there's nothing like that whatsoever. There is mourning and weeping in my heart for that young child, for that innocent child who's been somehow told, or at least temporarily convinced, that abortion is not a grave evil, and that it is the mother's choice as to whether or not children are allowed to live. So, I'm at a point, I would say, where I'm almost, I don't want to go too far and seem too polarized on things like this. I'm not looking for new friends in life. I'm 53 years old, been down many roads, as many of you have, I'm sure. And, you get to a point where you long for peace, you long for contentment. You'd love to see everybody getting along and loving one another. And if you did, it would make you very happy. But, again, we're in the modern world where chaos and cancellation and self-preservation are kind of at the helm right now. The modernist view, the evolutionist, atheistic view that's constantly shoved down our throats. And it has its wear and tear on all of us, definitely. But when I hear of a so-called Catholic school with a young girl, 6th grade, uttering things to my son that abortion is a mother's decision and that Kamala would have been a better choice, I got to kind of put my foot on the brake for a second and say, what the hell? Because that's just flat wrong, and it's such a disservice to that young soul. I feel badly for her. I mean, these girls are being brainwashed, and think about this. This is a so-called Catholic school. Imagine what it's like in the public school arena, where they're all being lied to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yep, weekends too, with their homework. Right? So they're being recruited, they're being brainwashed, they're being lied to, because there's a Kamala Harris in every single classroom. Right? So while we did beat back Kamala Harris and her socialistic, communist, chaos-creating, lunatic band of miscreants, we still have quite a lot to contend with when we consider that there's a Kamala Harris in every classroom, and all these public schools and all these public school districts. And imagine what these children think they believe. Imagine what they think they know. Now I'm just coming up on the world's worst traffic jam here. Just going to take a quick second to decide what I need to do. 35 heading south, pretty well jammed, so we're going to take a different route. So in any case, I don't want to make this super long, but you got to think, the state of Missouri, obviously red state, but I'm calling it a blood red state now, because while we did vote for Donald Trump and we're a red state in that sense, we also passed Amendment 3 of the Missouri State Constitution that now recognizes abortion across the whole spectrum as a woman's right to choose. All right? So we've really lost in a big way, at least temporarily. Can we change that? I'm thinking that there's probably things that could be done. It's going to be an ongoing educational war, for years to come, and many, many, many lives lost, many little children cut to pieces, and their beating hearts sold off to universities so that they can do stem cell research and we can all practice medical cannibalism. It's funny that Donald Trump's wife, Melania, who's probably the biggest female disappointment of the last 10 years, recently wrote a book, and in it published her opinion about a woman's right to murder her child. And I'm not quoting word for word, but she finalized that quote by saying that this is a right that every female possesses from the moment of her birth. I thought that was a bit of an ironic way to put it, because really it should have said ... provided she was allowed to have her birth, provided she was allowed to be born, provided for the fact that she was not murdered and cut down and cut to pieces and maybe sold off to science or whatever, just burned to ashes, as they've been doing for so many years in the crematoriums at the abortion mills. Those are the days that I remember with my more active life around the pro-life fight. So, in any case, the children are under attack, right? Do your children go to a Catholic school? You know, those liberal, new church, BS institutions that say they love Jesus. Oh, we love Jesus. And then somehow children fall through the cracks at the age of 11, 12, 13, and their go-to is a mother has the right to abort her children. I, for one, don't want to put up with this kind of horse shit anymore. And I want to hit it head on all the time, every day, whenever it comes up. And I hope, anyone listening will consider doing the same. The culture war, the religious war, the spiritual war, the sacrifices of children to the devil and his minions is well underway, and 7 more states in our so-called union just pretty much gave carte blanche to that industry to offer more little innocent bodies up to that bloodthirsty industry. Now, we can't necessarily turn all that off tomorrow morning, but I would check all parents out there, all parents, check with those kids, with your children. I never discussed abortion with my young children, of course. When they were young, I left that alone. As they aged into, I think probably 11-ish, 10, 11, 12, it was a little hard to hide it, and they need to know so that they can pray for it to come to an end. Anyway, check with them on occasion. Make sure that they are not being influenced by some Kamala Harris socialist wench who snuck into your school system so that she can lie to your children and destroy their souls. Because they're certainly out there. And it is not just in the public school arena. I'm sure most of you are aware of that. But feel free to share, make a comment. I don't have a big channel. I'm not trying to have a big channel or anything. But I do want to share my grave disappointment that such a situation exists. And, for expressing that opinion, will something negative come back? Bring it. Have a great day, guys.